listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15, or you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show the old-fashioned way via the Absolute Radio website. Bit of Aznavour early on.
We occasionally get a snail mail letter, don't we? An actual pen and paper letter every now and again, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I get the odd.
Yeah, but we make Daisy the producer open them just in case.
Yeah, well,
better safe than sorry.
If I can see lined paper through the envelope, I panic. But yes, we do get some letters now and again.
So Frank, how's your week been?
When's the last time you had a telegram? Can you send a telegram?
Oh.
Is that possible?
I don't think I've ever had one, but I think I could probably send one if I put my mind to it.
Can it still be... If I wanted to send you a telegram this week, how would I go about that?
Oh, let's send a telegram to someone. I'd love to do that.
I imagine you would just ask your PA to sort out a telegram to the Cockerel, wouldn't you? Surely that's how it works for you.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to send you one, it would be an undertaking.
It would have stop on it and stuff.
Stop?
I'd have to do jokes. I'd have to do jokes.
Of course you'd have to do jokes.
Yeah,
what about the fact that I'm old enough to remember receiving a telegram congratulating me on my appearance in Day of the Triffids?
Wow.
That's old.
That's
it was for some relatives in New Zealand. They're quite behind.
How anxious are you, Alan?
I feel a bit tense. Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
In a minute, Emily's going to realise she said that on air. You know, we've started the show.
Yeah, but they were New Zealanders. They didn't understand.
Yeah. I imagine it's still the main form of communication in New Zealand.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Orchestral, I think they use. Not orchestral.
Frank, I think...
That'd be a good band. Kestrel manoeuvres in the dark. If you start... No, not a band.
Another one of your brilliant ideas.
If you started an entertainment for all-night entertainment, you could have hawking people who illuminated the hawks and sent them out at night, and it'd be like Anyway, moving on.
When we did cover band titles, Kestrel Manoeuvres in the Dark never came up to me, but that would have been good.
It would have been
Alan,
fabulous.
Yes, dear.
How much longer shall we torture him for by not mentioning the Doctor Who appearance?
The what?
Because it's all he's wanted to talk about for the last 5 minutes.
But I do worry we might drive people away.
Well, we could talk about your other television appearances this week.
Oh no,
you've never been off there, have you?
Let's not go on and on. Yes, it was brilliant.
Well, you can't say that. It was brilliant.
No, I mean the experience was brilliant. I don't mean that I was brilliant by any means.
Well, Trevor Feelgood says, I had a tear in my eye when Perkins walked off the TARDIS. Will he be back? I hope so.
Well, people... That's one thing that happens to people who are in Doctor Who, is that every interview that they do after people ask them if they're coming back, I'm just happy just to be there once was a great joy, and that's enough.
I don't want to get greedy.
I've had this conversation with a lot of women over the years. Don't go on about coming back, just that. Yeah, it's, yeah.
Can I say, in an irony-free moment on the show, I thought you were absolutely brilliant.
Oh.
Yes.
Honestly, Frank, I was nervous, I won't lie. I thought you might be looking at your watch and sighing a bit in the background.
Yeah, like...
building up your part.
Like, Mickey Rooney.
Yes.
In Milton Keynes.
But you were absolutely marvellous.
Oh.
A Star is Born.
Maybe
I think you might go to Hollywood. I think you'll get offers after this.
Frankie goes to Hollywood.
What about if they rung up, like The Expendables?
No,
you and David could be in that?
I think the Undateables might ring up.
Have you had offers? I think you will.
No, I don't think, really. Remember, you're watching Through the Eyes of Love.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't download that for movies.
My best review of the week was as I left Mass on Sunday morning. I heard the priest say, "Oh, there's Doctor Who's friend." I loved it.
What about Frank, though? I got quite obsessed by it after I watched it, so I wanted to find out more information about your character.
Maybe you're going to be obsessed with Doctor Who.
I know. Well, I looked up, and on BBC iPlayer, there was a whole section called "It's Perkins."
Was it?
Honestly.
Really?
There's a
Do you know
picture
about
of
that?
Frank in the cab.
I missed that.
"It's Perkins!" ! It has all your characteristics. It says he's sharp with a dry sense of humour, and it refers to your canniness.
Oh, yeah, my canniness.
But you turned down the big job, didn't you, in the show?
Yes, which, was tricky, because when I read it, for the first time. Obviously, I didn't know it was coming, so they said, "Oh, why don't you come and join me on?" And I thought, and then I said, "Nah, you're all right." "No, you're all right," as Ringo Starr once said to a mate of mine who asked him for an autograph. "No, you're all right." No, I don't think you understand, Ringo. I actually won. Oh, it's a funny old world.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
151 has pointed out Perkins has been my favourite could-be companion. He was actually of use to help the Doctor, unlike most other companions.
Yeah, right.
I like that about your character, and that was genuine acting, wasn't it? Because it's not that long ago.
Too far.
It's not that long ago that you were saying that you didn't help someone carry a table up some stairs, and then there you are helping him fix a quite complicated bit of kit.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, there is
That's
that.
acting, isn't it?
You're right. Yeah, I did join in a bit.
I understood quite a
impressed.
lot of it as well. Because I always worry, this is my issue with Doctor Who, is there's too many flux capacitors or whatever, and I won't understand it.
Yes.
They fixed all those last series.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I saw it on the train, I've never been so happy. They all had lovely 30s outfits. That Foxes was singing. I thought, this is lovely. Nice champagne glasses.
Actually,
Then some space thing happened, and I thought, oh, no.
Yeah, then there's a lot of hairy scientists.
yeah, I like that bit.
Yeah, it was... they brought out 2 posters last week. One was the Radio Times thing, which you could download. And the other one was the show sort of brings one out every week.
Yeah.
And they're both already framed on my wall.
Oh,
that was quick.
Less than a week later.
You didn't waste time.
Pronto print, indeed.
was it?
Hey? Pronto.
Talk about showing your age.
Yeah.
I tell you, Frank, the mummy was scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it was scary.
It was. It's funny that sort of having tea and biscuits with him.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
did he have his legs crossed? Please tell me he had his legs
The
crossed.
catering.
Saying, it's a great little theatre, actually, love.
Exactly, it was cigarette. Yes, it was, I must say, I had it. No, he was more sporty than that. Anyway, I read some reviews.
Why did you do that?
Because I
This
never read
upsets me.
reviews, and I thought this would be a new experience. But
Can I say they were largely...
I'll admit they were
Yeah.
largely very positive and lovely, and that's great. And we've also had lots of nice emails and texts, and thank you very much indeed.
Lots and
but,
lots, yeah.
of course, it is the nature of comedy. There's no point reading out a good review, so I want to read out a couple of...
Oh, you're not going to...
Can I just tell you this one? Frank Skinner plays Frank Skinner in a hat. And another bloke said that I was like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. And he meant
Popular.
that. He meant that as a bad thing.
Oh.
Right.
So I think the idea is I got the accent wrong.
You have worked on it for a long time, though, eh?
I love Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with what I call DVD extras. More
Well,
Dick
what
Van
about-
Dyke.
113 said, I don't normally watch Doctor Who. Right back at you. But because you were starring, I did. And when you said you were the chief engineer, I was very proud because I'm also a chief engineer.
Ah,
As you know, we make the wheels of the world go round.
Indeed.
Well done, you were brilliant. There you go.
thanks.
That's exciting, isn't
I
it?
was hoping I'd unearthed a few chief engineer supporters. That is brilliant news. One of these posters, by the way, Jenna Coleman isn't mentioned. It says, Mommy on the Express starring Peter Capaldi and Frank Skinner.
Oh, it's some sort of civil partnership.
Oh, I think that was that must have slipped through that one. But can I just tell you this? And I know adverts are on the way. Don't worry if you're waiting for them. I went to eat this week, and I got a fruit cocktail kind of thing.
Oh,
and
I love that
It was
story.
called. It was called carrot, mango and lime. I'm just talking about Billings now. Carrot, mango and lime. And when I looked up the contents, it said carrot, mango, lime and apple juice. And I thought, what a crap agent apple juice must have not to not get on the main label.
Yeah.
That's a lesson for us all. Try Avalon.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I tell you what I did this week. I told a joke. I mean, like, told an old joke. You know when people say, 2 blokes went into a pub?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel sick and I leave the room.
Yeah. What?
I absolutely
Is it
hate
broadcastable?
jokes.
Are we allowed
I
to hear it?
hate jokes.
Do you hate... Yeah.
my worst thing ever.
It's something I forgot. It's completely faded out of my life, that telling a joke like that.
A joke that already exists rather than your own ones.
Yeah, I mean, I completely acknowledged. I wasn't selling it as my own. It's not quite. It's not quite two blokes went into a pub. It's in the first person.
You
How
went
does
into
it
a
start? It doesn't start. Did you hear the one about? That's how they all.
Well,
start.
I think it's the best joke ever written, but it's been ruined by the modern age. Because I must have said this to you before. Because the joke I have.
Do you know, I actually felt a little wave of nausea in my stomach.
Well, I won't. Shall I not tell it?
No, tell it.
Oh, well, you can't build it up as the best
It's very
joke ever
quick.
written.
It's very quick. It's the one, I went out with a mermaid once.
Oh, yeah?
Great figure. 36.24, 3 and 6 a pound.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, that joke has been ruined.
Why?
Because 3 and 6 a pound is a little archaic.
It's no longer metric.
And I've tried modernising it. But now,
How long did you spend on that?
I suppose, me and a team of writers went away for a month to Antigua. And we never got there.
No.
We got to Antigua, but we didn't get to.
Don't you mean programme associates?
Of course. Well, the thing is, what you need to do is you need to get the word, because of the price of fish now. You need to get the word pound into the price of the fish, and once you've got, it's like £2 a pound. It's you've killed it. What a shame.
It's not worth it. Just
Also,
for a joke.
mermaids, that they're not so up front now in popular culture.
That's true, yeah.
Last time I saw one, I got a
They've
free
taken a
one.
back seat somewhat, haven't they?
Well, that must be difficult.
It must be.
Do you tell
Especially
jokes,
in
Alan?
a two-door car.
I want to know if Alan tells jokes.
No, not really.
No,
No,
it's a
and I
skill that's disappeared.
Yeah.
You say skill.
And I tell my own sometimes, and even those are often...
Do you tell your own in
to
company?
certain people are sentences. No. Not really.
You don't go, hold on, here's one of mine.
No.
If someone said to me, "Okay, I've got a joke," I honestly would rather they went to the bathroom on my carpet. Honestly.
Yeah. What, have you got a flying carpet?
There you go with your jokes.
Yeah. No, but that's all
But
right.
it's dark, though, isn't it?
That's fine. That's fine because you're funny in conversation.
Yes.
If you can't be funny within the conversation, get out.
Okay.
It's good to have a rule.
My brother, he likes telling a joke, Keith. And he has a link. So if he's got a joke to tell, he's going to tell it. So he'll say, "Oh, I went and..." If I said to him, I was on Doctor Who the weekend, he'd say, "Oh, it's like that bloke, innit? He went into a pub and blah, blah," and he just tells the joke. So he makes it feel like conversation, but he doesn't make it... He doesn't try that hard, you know what I mean?
No.
And in comes the joke. I just forgot. I forgot the thrill of it. It's like doing a cover version. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about it, because often you do your own jokes and you're not sure about them. But if you do an old joke, there's love in it. That's why you're doing that joke.
Do you know what? I feel like this about cover bands. When you see a cover band be brilliant and you go, "Oh, wow, that's amazing," it sort of dawns on me whenever I see a really good cover band that is deeply arrogant to only play your own songs, isn't it? Because you're basically going, "These are better than all of the ones that we could have picked for you."
I don't like the sound of this. I feel you're moving towards justifying comedy writers.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Now, I'll tell you who we need to talk about today is you too, Frank.
That's who.
Ah.
Yeah, because this was this big story this week. They've been eating humble pie.
Yes.
I never thought that would happen.
No.
Yep.
They've actually apologised.
Poor Kate. Exposed. Yes. She, if you remember, I played, those of you who listen to this show live, I played U2 last week, and in the middle of it, I interrupted and spoke over a record, which is something I've never done before, basically to get my own back for the way they interrupted my
Yes.
iTunes.
It had something of the feel of the abdication announcement.
Yes. I think people thought it was a news. They thought the Queen had gone. There's a lot of people holding their breath at home. But no, it was just me messing about. I was interviewed this week on a radio station called The Bee. Have you ever heard of it?
No. I hear there's a buzz about it, though.
Yeah. And I was interviewed by the breakfast DJ, and he asked me about what I thought about the iTunes U2 thing, and I said, I played a record last week by U2, and then in the middle of it I interrupted to get my own back, and he said, I'm having that.
No.
He didn't.
He did, yeah.
No.
He actually said, I'm going to steal that idea.
Oh, well, at least he's more honest about it, rather than just I'm having it, as if it's a thought he's had.
Yeah, and he's a very nice bloke and that, but I did say, I hate it when people say that. I think you should be more original and go out on your own.
I bet that created a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, it went a little bit downhill after that, but...
well, that happens in your life.
Maybe I overreacted. If you're listening, Rob, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But,
You shouldn't be waspish on the bee.
No, but yeah. No,
Can you stop doing jokes?
Sorry.
But, you have to be told.
What about what Bono said? He put it down to...
I like this.
He said it was a drop of megalomania, a touch of generosity. We had this beautiful idea and we got carried away with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I like a drop of megalomania. It sounds like a cocktail, doesn't it? Like there should be a cocktail with a drop of megalomania in it. They've got a hotel in Dublin, haven't they? They could sell it.
They have got. I've stayed at that hotel, the Clarence,
nice.
I believe it's
Nice.
called.
They could sell that.
I went up to. They showed me there's a suite on the top floor, which is like, I don't know what it is.
Well, I've seen
several grand a night. Have you stayed? You haven't stayed in that room, have
you? Of course I have.
Have you?
No, I haven't. There's a hot tub up there.
Oh, there's a grand piano.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for goodness sake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a nice hotel, fair play to them. But I was very miffed about them interrupting my iTunes. And then, this is something that happened to me. I was hosting Have I Got News For You this week.
Oh, you've better been
and
off the telly.
we were rehearsing in the studios. It's called London Studios on the Thames. And suddenly this really loud music came. And I said, what is that? In the middle of a rehearsal, we got music. And it was U2 rehearsing in the next studio. So they've done it again. They've done it live to me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before, when the sound of something so loud from another studio has come
bleed.
through. Yeah,
That's what they call it in the industry.
They're quite loud as well.
They were doing Graham Norton, and they were...
Yes, they were.
Well...
He also
Get
said...
out of my life, you two.
He also said the blood, sweat and tears of some Irish guys are now in your junk mail. I've already got enough of those in my junk mail.
You don't want to hear that in the current climate.
My favourite thing was he said that we had this beautiful idea and we got carried away with ourselves, and he said artists are prone to that kind of thing, which is just such a brilliant way of going, you guys, you make normal, everyday little mistakes. You make admin mistakes, you put the wrong thing in the wrong column, but we made a massive PR disaster mistake because we're special. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, my first thought was, artists are prone to that. Have you got an easel? well, no, I don't actually have it. No, well, thank you. Goodbye.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, I did something this week. Well, I had a couple of things which really took me back. First of all, I found someone, and there's this noise, and I thought, what is that? It's an engaged tone.
I love that.
I can't remember the last time I heard an engaged tone. It completely... I mean, I don't normally dabble in the landline world as it is. But honestly, I'd forgotten what it sounded like.
So it was a landline you were ringing, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that what the
I'm
engaged
thinking
tone?
now, can you download an app that's got an engaged tone
that'd be good.
on it?
Whose
that
was
if
it?
in
I bet it was
mobile?
David Baddiel. He hasn't paid for the voicemail.
It was Sandy Mason.
Of course it was.
Was it?
It was my mother-in-law. Yeah, but what a lovely walk down memory lane that was. I was almost glad she wasn't in, just for that little...
Oh, no, she was in.
What about when...
She was
She
in, which
was
is
in.
not
She was
answering.
just on the phone.
I liked it
of
when
course.
phones...
She
was
must have
happening
been
there.
in. You see, I don't even remember how it works, the engaged thing.
Confusing.
Yeah.
Unless she had it off the hook while she was watching
off
the
the
telly or
hook.
something. That's my mum's trick. If you phone at a certain time and you get the engaged, you think either she's on the phone to Glasgow or it's off the hook.
Off the hook? I'd
We
forgotten
do that.
about that.
My
Forgot about off the hook.
mother would always say, darling, can you put the phone off the hook? I don't want to talk to anyone.
But
So
I've done
that's
that
what
in
we do.
hotels. You do it in hotels,
Yes.
thinking, I don't want it to be woken up, and you take the phone off the hook, and after about 5 minutes it goes... Have you done that? It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
I've
Yeah.
also unplugged it from the wall, thinking, well, they can't do that to me then. That's a little tip for you
Or
there.
if you
It's
knock
the
it
closest
off,
I get to
you
DIY.
knock it off during activity or something.
Oh.
What's that?
All right,
No, when you wake up.
Yeah.
That'd be disgusting.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You mean when you reach out for the sherry? Yeah, that happened to me. But what a lovely thing, the engaged tone.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Memories.
We had a joke sent in.
We had a joke sent in. We've been
By the way,
talking about...
don't send in jokes, generally speaking.
It seems patronising.
I mean, two blokes went into a pub type jokes.
Well, this is from David Tunnicliffe, I think. He says he's a Yorkshireman living in Sydney, Australia. And here's his joke. Strap in. Still need to get you two off your iTunes. Use sandpaper. It doesn't completely remove it, but I find it takes the edge off it.
That is very good. It's good. See, that's a proper modern.
I think he's made that up.
Joke.
It's a modern twist on the edge, isn't it?
It's
the edge was on Graham Norton wearing a t-shirt and a beanie hat last night.
I find it
Pick
weird.
a team. You're hot or you're cold. Which is it?
Well, he was on the edge.
He's right on the edge
You
of
know
both,
that
isn't he?
feeling. Do you know that David? But I don't think this is in David's fame show. It ought to be.
What's that?
But he had a young girlfriend. He had a young girlfriend, and they were at some. Yes,
he's not a filthy creep, in fact.
and they were at. But he was then, and and they went to some showbiz do, and they met. Well, you two were there,
yeah.
And the guy and the Ed said to her, I mean, it was a noisy sort of room, and she said, "Hello, I'm the Edge," and she said, "Reg who?" That must have been a moment when he thought maybe I shouldn't have persevered with this name. Because he was the Rim for 5 years. And in the end, he was. They had a stylist in who talked him out of it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Lewis Bolter has tweeted us, Frank. And we've also had, I should say, a significant number of tweets this morning saying, they're a bit j'accuse in tone, saying Frank Skinner said last night on Have I Got News For You that he wasn't on Twitter. And he is, but we should say you're not on Twitter. This is Daisy's work and Charlie's work.
Yes.
The show is on Twitter, and
the
it's
show
Frank
is
on
Twitter,
the radio.
yeah.
That's your handle, isn't it?
I just won't have people calling you a liar, unless it's me. Lewis Bolton, excellent scene with Perkins with his head on the side asleep. Years of practice at primary school paid off.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
Oh, you put your heads on your desks, did you?
Yeah, we used to have this thing where she'd say, right, Miss Page, who had that, you know, those ice cream cone breasts that Madonna reintroduced.
We are still on breakfast radio, are we? Is that fine?
She had that with a nylon jumper on. You know, those really pointy that you don't see anymore. I saw her opening letters once with her left breast. It's terrifying. But anyway, she used to say, right, it's time for sleep, and we just used to put our heads on the desk, on our arms, like that, and we basically went to sleep.
They should do that at work.
I wonder if they were drugging us, but we all seemed to go to sleep.
School milk.
Yeah, exactly.
We had school milk about half an hour beforehand. I wonder what was in it.
Yeah, it did smell a bit funny, I must say.
Alcohol. Lovely.
But,
I'm not sure that was part of the official syllabus, the sleep.
I don't know if it's still...
They just couldn't be bothered in Birmingham.
If there's any teachers of the primary nature listening, then if you've got the sand out your clothes for this weekend... do kids still have their afternoon sleep? I
know that. They don't at my kids' school, because they come back really tired. My daughter's just lost out on a nap during the day.
That's it, yeah.
By going to school.
But that scene where I'm sleeping, the director very sweetly said, I'll tell you what, take your cap off, Frank. I think you should have one scene in the show when you don't have your cap on. Oh, lovely. Turned out a lot better in the cap. What if I started wearing it all the time?
That'd be good.
Oh, that's pathetic. Would that be the most
That
pathetic?
would be good. I'd like that.
You start signing autographs. Frank Skinner, brackets, Perkins.
Oh, if I'd come in the cap today and just not mentioned it, that I'm just going to wear this all the time. I bought the cap. I gave them $8,000 for it. Oh, dear. No, I think I might have peaked too early.
Oh, I see. Jokes.
Do you think you'll get a role in Peaky Blinders now?
Well,
Will drive self, Will bring cap.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to save them a few bob on the costume.
I think my
Yeah.
manager found up. They said my accent was too realistic.
Yeah, they are a bit. Yeah.
What's another walk down? Literally a walk down memory lane I had this week. I was walking through the centre of London. I don't know if you know that large conurbation in the southeast of England.
Aware of it.
And for the first time for I can't remember how many years, my shoes were really hurting me.
Oh.
I properly uncomfortable shoes.
Were they new?
Well, they're just some shoes I've had for a while and haven't really worn.
Right. Yeah.
And I
Are we
thought,
talking about the back area, the blister area?
just the whole thing. I felt like I was in a terrible clamp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd forgot how it's one of the most awful things.
Well, that might be an exaggeration.
Oh, I
but
think
yeah.
it's right up there.
No, it is a bad thing. I'm
You
not
can
gonna-
keep your international pandemics. It was one of those when I could feel the little toe was starting to get on the next toe's back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a good look if you do that over the years and you end up with it properly, like, just lying on there. That's not great,
No,
is it?
honestly, though, I'd forgotten. And it was also one of those... I don't know if any of our listeners some of you will live in London, some of you have been to London, but any big city, I've never known such disrespect for flight path as there was that night. People walking right across me.
I tend to abandon shoes for that reason a lot of the time now.
Well, you've gone to flats, haven't you? Have you not?
Wow.
Oh, was that a temporary...
Well, you see, the thing is, I've been
Back
meaning to
up on
talk
the
to you about
stilts.
this, and the no makeup thing.
Why don't we come back for this in a minute? Because I think this could be a long story with quite a lot of confessional tone.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Yeah. Oh, this is, Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15 if you like.
Frank was just doing a bit of karate then. That's what the was,
exactly.
just in case you're wondering.
Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. People must get bored of me saying that.
Once an hour?
Yeah. If I said something to you once an hour, say if we're on holiday together, wouldn't it start to drive you crazy?
Where are we? Hang on, I need more information.
Tenerife. Obviously.
Well, hang on, what week is it? Because I've got some stuff. I might have a scheduling clash.
It used to be a double act in the old days of music hall.
Skinner and Badil.
Before that, even before them, and they used to do this sort of patter, and one guy would say, "Oh, everything goes wrong for me. You take my holiday." The other one says, "No, you take it. I haven't got time." Excellent.
I do like jokes.
Excellent work.
I don't.
No, so you've given up on the flat side.
Well, I haven't given up.
haven't
I
spoken
will
of
get
yours.
them out sometimes, but
I've
I
heard
just...
that.
Frank,
Sorry.
I was going to say you're better than that, but
Yes.
I decided
no.
you're not.
No.
I just sometimes, when I'm at a cocktail party, it's nice not to feel like a child up past its bedtime.
Yeah.
Because of my height restriction, I do feel this.
understand.
Although you did attend quite a lot of cocktail parties as a child, didn't you? So
I did.
So it's probably a flashback thing.
Mainly exclusively. I call that tea, cocktail parties, when I was growing up.
So you're back in heels, basically.
I wore heels, for an event which I'm going to talk about later, which I went to this week, which was the Infidel.
Oh, yes, I
Musical,
look forward to
yeah.
hearing about that.
And I committed to heels. I wore heels through a Stratford shopping centre, patent Rupert Sanderson's, and it was fine.
Okay.
Can you say Sanderson's again?
Sanderson's.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it?
Stratford in the east of London, or Stratford in next to
Stratford,
the Avon?
East London. And you know what? It's not that bad, really.
Do you know when actors say Stratford, you Ponovan?
Oh, is that what they do?
Man alive, don't you? I love it.
Well, you know, a few weeks ago I mentioned on the show that I'd bought a pair of trainers that were 9.5s, and they were doing that classic thing of fitting in the shop, but not for a full day.
9.5, lovely.
I took them. I'm a 10 really. I'm a 10
Lovely.
really, but I was hoodwinked in the shop, and I took them to the cobblers to try and get them stretched, which sometimes can just...
Does that work?
But it doesn't on these, sadly. So I'm now thinking that I could possibly wear these particular trainers just for stand-up comedy sets. Like, I could put them on behind the stage.
I've got some shoes that I would only wear, like, for a very short-term thing like that.
I don't think I could do an extended set in them. Like, if someone said, rather than 20 minutes, Alan, 45 tonight, I'd have to go back to something else. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, just write a bit of material that justifies taking your shoes.
Oh, that I could do.
Yeah. There you go. Sorted. Next. It's become I'm like an agony ant. Some kind of agony ant.
I tell you what we need to talk about is Michaela Owen.
Oh, yes. Yes, now, Michael Owen.
Brilliant.
What's he done?
Well,
it's great.
What
it's
has
more
he done?
What hasn't
I'll
he
tell
done?
you what he's done. He's got on the plane.
I love
He's
this.
tweeted.
He's looked up.
He's looked up and he said, this is what he tweeted. Watch my 8th film ever on the flight home. Must have been bored. #hate films.
Yeah.
Then he did a list which was brilliantly childish, which said films I have been forced to watch, like he was 7 years old. And this included, there was Seabiscuit.
If he'd put, I've only seen one film, my first guess for Michael Owen would be Seabiscuit. I don't even think I'd need him to finish the sentence. I would have gone Seabiscuit.
He likes
the
GGs, doesn't he?
Cincinnati Kid would have been my
Was it?
guess.
Why?
It's a big gambling movie.
Oh, really?
He likes the GGs.
Oh, yeah.
Loves it.
Didn't like him when he lost 40 grand. Hey?
Probably good for it, though, isn't he?
Well, we should come back
Economies
to
of
this
scale.
because I have a theory about the Seabiscuit thing, all on its own.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Michael Owen's 8 films, which someone on Twitter suggested that there should be a film festival set up just showing Michael Owen's 8 films.
With him, he comes on and he's interviewed by Barry Norman.
Yeah,
at the
he
beginning.
talks. Yeah, it'd be Norman get that gig, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's a few candidates, but I did think about the Seabiscuit thing. Reminded me, I read an interview with Sir Alex Ferguson, and he said, people think all I'm interested in is football. He said, whereas they think Arsene Wenger's like a professor, but he's watching the Bundesliga on a Tuesday night on Sky. He said, I've got many, many interests. My favourite film is Seabiscuit. And I thought, I bet he's forced Michael Owen to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a contract at Man United, but you're going to have to watch Seabiscuit, isn't it? All right. Oh, okay. If you have to. Yeah.
The most interesting thing about this, well, maybe not the most, we'll find out, but interestingly, heckling myself.
Go on, be confident.
A couple of months ago, I think it was, he actually was in the papers in an interview saying that he'd only seen 5 films, and I think perhaps some of his friends have discovered that and said, you should really watch more films. So now it's gone a bit more big that he's seen 8 films. But in the intervening
You think
time...
he's showing off?
No, it's not even that. Just one of his films on the 8 is not the film 7. Why hasn't he seen 7? If he's only seen 8 films, why isn't one of them 7? And then the next film he watched could be Fellini's 8.5.
I don't think he'd watch that, to be fair. I think he might struggle.
And I do like the fact that out of his 8 films, about half of them, slightly more than half, are sport-related. It's just funny. They're good films too. Some of them are great. You all right? Is that a bit of banana cake?
Cool
Frank?
Runnings.
I've read. I don't know Cool Runnings. I've read. I don't know Cool anything. Let's face it. When I read it, I thought, but I don't know why this is a bad thing.
What, #hate films?
Yeah. Why is it about...
It's just an extraordinary thing.
Let me put it this way.
#hate.
Let's imagine if...
Words.
Let's imagine if a film star, a male film star, was interviewed and he said, I've only ever seen 8 football matches.
Yeah.
#8 football. No one would even turn a blind eye. So why is this different? Well. Discuss. Can you write on both sides of the paper?
I don't know.
It's true though, isn't it? It's some people feel that films is something. Oh no, you've got to watch films. I've read some stuff which is sort of based on that sort of thick footballer idea. Only really bright people watch films.
No, a lot of stupid people watch films.
Mainly stupid people.
That's not true.
Well, there's mainly stupid people.
No,
so
it depends
it's a
on the-
percentage.
It depends on
It's
the
a numbers
film.
It's not prejudice, it's mathematics.
No, I agree with you. If someone's constantly saying, should we watch film? Should we go to a movie? Oh, so this great film.
Yeah, we
They
stayed
just
in and watched the film. No, whereas Michael Owen is saying, no, I don't want to watch a film. I want to
No, but do you think
gamble for
that's-
very
Exactly.
inordinately high odds.
But that's what I mean. He's not substituting it with something fulfilling.
I want to buy my family a street. You know, he did that.
Did he do that?
I mean, come on, who needs a film if you can buy your family a street? Your own life is
That's
so
brilliant.
amazing.
Some
He
people
did.
are watching films about streets.
Yeah, but how good were the houses?
Imagine the family member who didn't get the house, the one who was next on the list.
Oh, it'd be awful.
Yeah, and they had to sit him down and say, sorry, it's a terrace, there's only like 9.
He'd be talking to one of the other family members, this doing a granny flat. Can you do a granny flat? They ain't get me. No, I'm sorry, we're full up. If one of them leaves, there'll be all the other family members will be saying, "No, I was thinking it'd be nice to move down that area." Ugh. No, I don't think he's done anything wrong. What are you looking at me like that for? I mean, with the films thing.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing Michael Owen.
Who I think may be slightly pulling our leg, you know, because I read the interview with The Guardian that he first said, I've seen 5 films.
I saw it in the sun.
The interview, I think, you know, where you get about 1 in 3 texts is basically someone saying Alan's boring, and it's because they don't realise that there's a twinkle in my eye and that I'm doing it on purpose and that it's funny. I think we might not be getting the twinkle in Michael Owen's eye. The interview in The Guardian descended into him having a conversation about really strong cheese. And he was going, unless it really stinks, I'm not interested, but that change has only happened in the last 5 years. Like, it's funny. I think he's being funny.
I
And,
think
Frank...
it's probably been Michael Owen.
Well, I don't think we should shoot him down because I'm going to give you a quote.
Why have you become some apologist? Owen
They
apologist.
said, I'll tell you why, here it is, this is it.
Oh, go on.
They said, do you laugh easily? And he said, and I'm quoting,
Only when I know Alan Cochrane.
he said, I love a night out where there's a comedian. So there you go. Michael Owen is effectively keeping me in work, isn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's never been at any of my gigs that I know of, but he's welcome if he wants to email me.
I'm totally with him on this. I support his right to not like films. I mean, they're a bit long for Michael Owen. He never got through 90 minutes of this is a bloke who could pick up an injury unwrapping a galaxy. So he's a delicate soul in many ways. But I think, why does he have to like films? Why is that?
No, I think.
Can I say, when I first started going out with Kath, she had only ever. She was 29. She'd only ever seen 1 film in her life. What about that? And it was Rattle and Hum by U2.
Oh,
Whatever happened to them?
Yeah, but to be fair, she was forced to watch that.
Yeah, she was watching the telly, just came on in the middle out of nowhere. No, but that's true.
But whilst I wouldn't describe myself as full-on #hate films.
No.
However, I do agree with him with forced to watch. Because you know when you're forced to watch certain things, it's normally with a friend. You'll love this. Those are the worst 3 words that I can hear. I had it with some friends once. You'll love this, Donnie Darko. I'm sorry, that was awful.
Well, I had a difficult Donnie Darko experience.
It was the lighting in Donnie Darko. It was like some GCSE project with a man in a rabbit costume and bad lighting. It was awful.
And I think the modern world has made that worse, hasn't it? Because you get people holding out a phone and
it
going...
hasn't reached me yet.
People hold out a phone and go, oh, you'll love this. It only lasts 3.5 minutes. And you think, hang on, only? That's... And I've got to stand here whilst you laugh at it and then look at me wondering why I'm not laughing at it. Viral.
That's why they call them virals, because they're forced upon you like that against your will, and then you have to suffer.
Yeah.
I don't laugh out of spite.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
Oh, it's in this Japanese guy. Oh, shut up about it. Yeah, have you seen this? It's salt in my pocket.
I had the... arguably worse than forced to watch. My wife, you know when...
I don't like the way this is going.
My wife said, you making a tea?
God, what was he forced to watch? That's what we're all wondering.
I said, yeah, I'll go and make a tea. And then she started to retell me how much she'd enjoyed 24 hours in police custody, the BBC programme.
Oh, not
Don't you say a word against that.
She started to describe it in extreme
it was
detail.
a personal experience.
No, she's gone straight now. She's really reformed.
I'm glad to hear
She's a
that.
reformed character. In extremely boring, long detail.
Yeah. It's
Told
not
me the
boring.
whole programme.
It is not boring.
Well, I'm not going to watch it now because I feel like I've heard it.
We don't want you with us on board in our club.
I don't know why she told me it in such detail, and then said at the end, "You should watch it." I said, "I don't feel like I need to now. I've seen it." I said,
Yeah, see, people don't. I don't do that about football matches. I don't. I never say, "Oh, so what happened? They kicked off, and then there was an interpassage of play in the middle. Not much. It was a throwing out on the left. You'd never do that. But people
No.
who see films, they will give you the absolute. I'm going to the cinema this afternoon, actually.
What are you going to see?
My brother-in-law. My brother-in-law writes about 9 projects a month.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
What's he up
got
to
a
now?
film. He's got a film coming out, and so I'm going to see that. It's called. I'll tell you what show it's called. It's called War Book. Not Big Daddy War Book.
That's your role in my life.
It's one of those quite serious cinemas. It's at ones where you have to stay.
Is it what I call
flapjack?
flapjack and coffee cinema?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
But when you have to stay for the credits.
Oh, yeah.
You stand up to leave, and the people are sitting watching. They're reading at the end. If I want reading, I go to the library, not the cinema.
I intentionally, Frank, get up and I go, "Come on, Gary, let's leave."
Yeah.
Just to show him.
I start going, and they do give you a bit more space. No, I am looking forward to it, but I'm meeting Michael Owen outside at about 10 to. You better make it.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
I'm quite surprised no one's ever wrong about that.
No,
No, but honestly, just to say, would she be
Would you like
interested
to
in
do a
session singing or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's.
you really took it to church. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
That's what the youth say, Frank.
Yes,
Apparently-
I discovered
apparently
this.
more.
Daisy was telling us that this is a popular phrase.
Yeah,
She
That's
says-
what you say. You really took it to church.
news to
But
me.
you genuinely can say that, Frank. And your family?
Yeah, I really took it to church. I said it to Gavin Henson. He just looked miffed.
Good morning, Frank. Morning, Emily. Morning, Alan. Morning, all. This begins. Frank, for the past few weeks, you've been
Morning.
looking for an
Morning, Peter.
alternative
Morning, Richie.
way. You've been looking for an alternative way to end the show, an alternative to If the Creeks Don't Rise, etc. Could I suggest the following ending, paraphrasing from the closing scenes of the Doctor Who episode in which you featured last week? Well, I won't keep you. Goodbye, and he's put brackets readers. Good to meet you. It sounds a bit final, perhaps, but like you might have been hoping when the Doctor said these words to Perkins, maybe those words are not as final as they might at first appear. Also, there will be a weekly link to your episode and Doctor Who.
Well, I know you'd like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
but there is an element of I'm having that.
Somebody else wrote it for you.
Peter Capaldi says it, and I think I'm having that.
With all due respect, but to hell with your no praise rule, credit where credit's due, we, my wife and daughters and I, all thought you were excellent. Best Nugget.
Oh, Nugget.
Nugget,
Nugget.
regular.
Thank you, Nugget.
Yeah, I think there are people that can't cope with the Doctor Who-ness that's been on the show just lately, and I think
Right.
if it ends like it every week, it's too much.
They wouldn't know
And also, the
necessarily,
writer,
would they?
Jamie Matheson,
Oh, yeah.
it's his line.
Good point.
That doesn't stop some comics.
Yeah. I
As we
could do
know.
what about that when David Tennant was about to regenerate and he said, I don't want to go. I could do that every week.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. Of course, there are weeks when I really want to go, though. What about that?
Yeah, there are weeks where you've
Is that
already got
what
the
David
coat on.
Tennant said as the Doctor?
Yeah.
That's a bit needy. I didn't think the Doctor was like that.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to go. Simple as that.
Oh.
Can I say I never want to go, obviously.
You've got your outdoor coat on now, though.
You've got your Peaky Blinders cap on, your
And a
Perkins
backpack.
cap.
What's that all about?
You hear that engine revving? That's my chauffeur.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Put him in the corner, Frank.
Still in the corner.
This is an email from 618.
Okay.
B, she calls herself, aka 618. Hello, team. As a long-time reader, new-time correspondent, I thought I'd suggest a possible new ending.
Yeah, we're still searching for an ending for the show.
To match the re-recording of the email corner jingle, I thought that it might also be time to re-record the friend of the show jingle. You could replace the word friend with the word end, and hey presto, you have a new way to say goodbye. So it would go something like this jingle. End of the
Friend of the show!
followed simply by...
End of the show. It'd be like that.
Yeah.
We have to re-record it.
Yeah,
say
we have to
end.
record it, and then when you say, now get out...
Oh, okay. Oh,
Oh,
that's
so-
gone as well. There you see, we've lost that as well.
I know. Feel free to workshop this idea.
I know, it's... yes. It's... I used to like... Remember Dave Alun? At the end would say, good night, and may your God go with you. I was
It's a
like...
bit heavy though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit heavy
You're right,
for
it's a bit
11
heavy-
o'clock
bit
on a
heavy
Saturday
for
morning.
breakfast,
Commercial radio.
Oh, that's heavy, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you want me to say, and may your science go with you?
Well, you know, what about a good day and whatever you believe in, I hope it works out for you. What about that?
Yeah? No. Actually, that's all right. What about Terrara Beat?
Terrara bit's good. Didn't
Yeah.
you do that?
I probably have done it in the past. It's just an ending.
It's a bit Peaky Blinders, Terrara bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not lie.
Hey, we've had a text message that I wanted to read to you, Frank, because I don't think I can be right. I think I'm wrong. But imagine if this is the case. Frank, you were wonderful on Doctor Who last week, though you did break my heart a little when you turned down the Doctor's offer. 674, brackets, a.k.a. Jenny, close brackets. Now, that wouldn't be the Doctor's assistant in real life, would it? Is she called Jenny Coleman?
No, she's called Jenna.
Jenna.
Oh, Jenna. All right, so I'm wrong.
Jaco.
He's got the name wrong. This is awful.
That's fine then, isn't it? No, I thought she texted the show. I was kind of
Absolutely
excited.
mortified.
No, it would be exciting.
It
You're right.
would, but it's
Yeah, but
fine.
how desperate are you trying to confuse Jenny with Jenna?
I don't know her name.
Maybe
that's
she's
become
maybe,
evident.
Maybe
hasn't
it's
it?
a misprint on her part.
Oh yeah, she might not be able to type her own name on telephone text messages.
Yeah, let's explain everything. It's definitely her. Who else could it be? Is there any famous Jennies?
Agatha.
Yeah, could be her.
Possibly not.
She's been hounding me for years.
Has she?
Yeah.
Well,
Murray.
Jenny Murray. It could be Jenny Murray.
Of course. Now we're out there.
That's right as well. 'Cause
Good luck.
she
Good luck
would,
with the scarf.
Presumably, Jenny Murray would be able to watch Doctor Who because she would have finished on Strictly at that point, or she would be about to do it, whichever order it's in.
No, she'd finished Strictly.
No, that's
Yeah.
Judy Murray. I'm talking about Jenny Murray.
Oh, my
Oh, I've got
goodness.
the wrong. Yes,
It's like
I
working
was-
with two old men. It's like Stanley.
It is like working with two old men.
You're like those
You know, that
blokes
is what it's like.
in the Muppet box.
I was.
That's what this feels
I
like.
must admit, I thought Judy Murray. But you know, there's parts
Yeah.
of me that always thinks Judy Murray.
I feel like I've caused all this confusion.
That's the way we were. Well, it's my version.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I have another email to bring to your attention, Mr. Skinner. Dear Peter, Richie and Jim. And that's quite good, actually, because that means that with the rotating gallery of supporting artists, you can... it's covered all the bases, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's
In fact, that could go to any radio show that's on now, couldn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Just, call them what you want.
yeah.
Dear Peter, Rich and Jim, what did Frank think of the Rembrandt exhibition opening at the National Gallery last night, brackets Tuesday the 14th? That's when it came in.
Spotted.
I spotted him prowling around the coat check looking either moody or pensive, and I was too scared to ask which.
What
No
were you doing
nights
out
move-
loitering around the coat check?
Loitering at the coat check.
I don't. This is one of these things that people say to me. They say, "Cheer up, Frank."
Oh.
But if you walk around smiling all the time, people think that you are a little bit troubled, if you know what I mean.
Ironically, whereas if you don't,
Who
people
is
think
that?
you're troubled.
Who is that from, please?
It's from Samuel, who says, "No night's move from me, happily shacked up, but if Emily ever fancies a platonic visit to an art gallery, let me know." I bet you do.
What a lovely
I bet
prospect.
it's Samuel Anderson who plays Danny Pink in Doctor Who.
Oh, I was about to say that.
Bound to be.
I was about to say that.
It's a certainty. Yeah, it was. I went to see Rembrandt, The Late Works. It was called,
Okay.
and it was brilliant.
It was, but I'm glad he never painted me, because I tell you, and I'm old enough, he doesn't do the most flattering filters, does he, Rembrandt?
Well, it was
He's no Instagram, is that
No.
what you're
Do
saying?
you know that one woman bathing in a stream, and it's a sort of woman with a dress pulled up and a sort of her feet in the water.
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking at that one, and I suddenly
you were.
said to well, I said to is it all
Filthy
right?
creep.
Is it all right to think great legs about someone who died in the 17th century? Is that morally acceptable?
It's probably fine, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
It seems a bit.
It's not doing her
weird.
any harm, is it?
No,
Not now.
no, but you know, you got to respect the dead.
Why?
Can't objectify them.
Why?
You're right. Yeah, they've had they had a good innings.
They're dead, didn't they?
I think it's a lovely tribute. Her legs will live on after her death.
I think it's partly because my feet were absolutely killing me at the time. I was just jealous.
He had the wrong shoes on.
Jealous that she was barefoot. Oh, barefoot! How lovely was that?
To be honest, this whole chat's making me feel a bit like Michael Owen. I'm like #8 pictures. I've not seen that much.
You know
art.
what that thing Frank says
All
reminds
right,
me of that new dad thing, when they see, let's call them intimate moments between couples, and they say, oh, that bed looks comfy.
Yeah. Well, it's great 'cause it was the opening of the exhibition, and so it's not.
You've got all the art contacts now.
It's a lot of posher people than you've ever met. I mean, people
Well, you
from
say that.
people from perhaps not you, but even it's a different type of posh though. It's people from the planet posh. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know, I thought Rembrandt the Late Works. When they say the Late Works, they're discussing the electrics at home. They were really beyond posh, but all very nice. And something it only really occurred to me that Rembrandt's full name is Rembrandt van Rijn. And what they should have done is they should have had they should offer a quick tour around it called Van Rijn's Express. What do you think?
Lovely.
You're both looking at me like I've said two things you don't understand instead of just
I
one.
don't get it.
There's Von Ryan's Express, do you know that film?
No.
What I like about live radio is, if this was on telly, the public would never get to hear it. And then
It's out there now.
and then
isn't
they
it?
build me up and they think I'm perfect. But this
Well-
way, I stay human. And I think that's the way forward for us all.
glad to help.
Cheers. I'm going to have a hot shower, I think.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. We haven't had many texts today.
We are.
We have.
It's a bad sign. Follow the show on Twitter.
We have had text.
I think I peaked last week. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio and email the show via the ARW.
Can I just say, some of the texts are still praising your appearance as Perkins, and I know you don't like praise.
Oh,
Well, I love private
You don't like
praise.
it?
I like the
Read
fact you
out.
invented that we hadn't had many texts, and then you decided it's a bad sign. What does that say?
Welcome to life with Frank Skinner.
Sorry, I'm still reeling from Van Rijn's Express.
That is what it is.
It is. I'm in shock. I feel like I've been hit by Van Rijn's Express.
So, I had quite a busy week this week.
Oh,
I know you thought it was all about you, but it turns out I was invited to something,
good.
which was...
You do get invited to quite a lot of things.
I do, pretty much every night. Sorry to those I turned down. I went along to the opening
Small
night
group.
of our dear friend David Baddiel.
Yes, I couldn't go. I had other work.
Yes. I did go. It was the opening night of The Infidel. And
And it's a musical now, we should establish.
it is, yes.
It
it's
was a
musical.
film, now it's a musical.
It's in Stratford East is a theatre. And I'll tell you, well, firstly, when I first arrived, I mean, I spotted some famous faces in the foyer. Howard Jacobson,
Okay.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
There's a theme.
No.
There was a bit of a theme. Well, in fact, it's funny you should say that, because when I was sitting down and Martin, are you familiar with Martin, who is Celebrity TV Man?
Of course, he did my television.
Well, he did mine. I
Still-
snuck in under
I'm
the
still
wire.
paying off the mortgage.
I feel like a civilian in this chat now. What
Martin is
is
Celebrity TV Man. He does the televisions for all the celebrities.
Right.
So if you were one, he would do your telly for you.
That sounds like it's a big if, but I think I'd probably still just go to like a shop
I think you probably would.
I'll have that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm on about if you're not obsessed with money. This is a bloke you go to.
I'm not obsessed with money.
Oh, God, don't get ugly. So anyway...
Is it tech support? Is that what he offers? He offers tech support, so he comes along...
Comes in and puts your telly in.
And it's surround sound and everything.
Right.
Anyway, so Martin...
I'm not sure we should be dwelling on him.
No. So Martin came over to me. He's a lovely man. He's a lovely man. He came over to me and he said, "Oh, hi, he said, have you introduced this sort of slightly elderly couple?"
Okay. And
I don't know why. It was rather very nice, but I was in one of my funny moods and I said, "I would get up, but I'm wearing heels."
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Which was sort of meant to be a joke. And she said, "Oh, you poor thing." So then I felt terrible.
That's quite... Was she being super ironic or just
I
nice?
hope so. I love her if she was.
Yeah.
Then Martin said something. He said, first of all, he said, "Emily's a friend of David's." And I thought, is that a euphemism for being Jewish? Is that like friend of Dorothy, friend of David's?
Okay.
But then he said to the man, "You probably know her. She does Frank's show." To which the man said, "Oh, yes. I watch it every week." That was awful.
I wonder who did she...
Yeah, who's on
He
screen?
probably thinks I'm some floor manager who gets into view occasionally on Room 101. I watch it every week.
Oh.
Because there were others present, I styled it out.
No, good on you.
I said, "Oh, great." I wasn't about to say I'm not as famous as you think I am.
Well, a member of the cast of Infidel in the past said to me, "Oh, I'm watching your show the other week and it was great. That when you interviewed blah blah, and it was clearly Graham Norton." And I pointed it out. I said, that's Graham Norton. And she went, no. And I wasn't allowed to correct her.
Oh, no. I should say at this point, The Infidel was marvellous. And...
You should.
Well, no, I will say it. I want to say it, because it's one of those things where it's always nerve-wracking when it's a Friends thing, isn't it? You think, I hope this is all right. I'd already had the Doctor Who concern.
Yes.
Thankfully, that went off well. No, it was excellent. But
2 from 2.
now we've got the positives out the way with, I recommend it, go and see it. However...
Hold it, can we leave? What I want to do is I want to leave it here and then play some music, just so that Dave will be in terrible paroxysms of doubt.
Leave him on the rack.
As to what's coming next. This is what Friends are all about, isn't it?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now then, you love The Infidel, but...
I love The Infidel, but I picked up my ticket, so I was behind Alexi Sale in the queue.
Oh, okay.
And if there's one thing you don't want to see on a ticket, on a theatre ticket, it's the words upper.
Okay.
Any other ticket, fine, but not on a theatre ticket, because that means you're up in the gods.
Yeah.
The student digs. So I kept my eye out to see where Alexi Sale was going, if I'm honest.
He's a friend of David's.
Well, aren't we all?
He's a friend
That's quite
of
a loud
David's.
gulp, Frank.
Yeah.
So, sorry. I'll move back slightly from the microphone.
Anyway, well, moved out of the studio practically. So I thought it can't be that high. So I made my way up the stairs. Alexi Sale goes into the dress circle.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good moment for me. Wasn't happy about that. There was a man there. He said, "Oh, it's another couple of flights." Couple of flights.
And you had the heels on, did you?
Well, it was less the heels, more my self-respect. Another couple of flights, he said.
You don't want to be perspiring and have, like, cramp ache when you get to the
don't want people
top.
to see me sitting right in the gods.
Oh, right.
I kept
I see.
walking. I was so high. I'm honestly not exaggerating. I wish I'd taken a picture. I expected to see Dynamo at the top.
Right.
There was layer upon it. It was like mezzanine upon mezzanine. Eventually
Wow.
I get there. I was slightly out of breath.
Okay.
I get there. It's high. I've got slight vertigo.
Less
Bottom
oxygen
line.
up there as well.
I had a lovely view of the chandelier. I
like a nice chandelier. In the
I didn't
theatre.
feel so bad because there was a couple of other celebrities in the upper section as well, I noticed.
You going to name them? Let me guess.
Jessica Hines.
Oh.
She made it into the upper as well.
Uh-huh.
Wolf from Gladiator. Wilf, I call him.
But I should say at this point, I think David would have been absolutely mortificado had he known that I'd been given those seats. Fortunately, he'll never know because I'll obviously never say anything.
No, you're
I
right to
think
keep
he'll-
it quiet.
But I love The Infidel. It's fantastic. But don't sit in the upper circle.
Oh,
If you're a friend
hang
of
on.
David's.
All right, yeah, you need to add that if, otherwise
Yeah.
just have...
No, you can sit in the upper circle, but not on an opening night when Alexi
it's
Sale's
here.
below you.
Yes, I can I suppose there's so many celebrities there.
Yeah, packed.
There were.
Sounds of it.
J-Ro was there.
Jonathan Rothie. I thought you actually meant J-Lo. I mean, that's
I thought you meant J.K. Rowling. but
J-Lo,
we just
that's 2 seats gone already. No, well, I've heard it was a glorious success.
It was.
Which is...
Copies of the Parent Agency available in the foyer.
What, the children's book?
Yes.
God, no opportunity missed. And you've seen his work because we've plugged it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, we think, yep. Sharp
I've got an eye on the merch.
Sharp as a knife.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know, on your little show, Have I Got News for You?
Yeah, it's not really mine. I was just passing through.
Guest host.
Yeah, you pop up, though.
Been on everything, hasn't
Yeah.
Shut up about it.
he? Doing the news tonight.
He says shut up about it. He loves it.
Never shut up about
I
it.
do. I'm not actually presenting the main news.
No.
Imagine if you turned up on
just
the
do
news.
some vox pops
I
in
would
the street.
absolutely love that. Imagine the shock and you didn't tell us. That was your new job.
I'm reporting live from Gateshead
Oh, yeah.
on the binge drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no reference made to it being just said Frank Skinner live from Gateshead.
It'll just say that, and I just did the report. They never say anything about it. So I do a completely straight report. Obviously, people in the background going, woo!
Legend, Frankie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I noticed you were talking last night on the show about this character who's been logging his sneezes.
Yes.
And I've been rather fascinated by him myself.
Yeah, a man who just decided that he was going to make a note of every sneeze he did and where he did it and what he was doing at the time and what was the strength of the sneeze. And he's logged thousands.
He's recorded 4,000 times in 7 years.
If you want to look at it, his website is @CHU@chew.com.
Oh, that's good.
It's not. I made it up.
Well, it is good.
Someone should do that.
It is good, but not his.
You'd have a nice little line of work in domain names.
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Why not?
Yeah.
Extra. So he sneezes about 1.5 times a day.
Is that all?
He worked out, which I don't think is very much.
No, but I mean, there'll be days when he does a lot and days when you don't
Yeah,
know any
those
at all. I
little
find.
bursts. That
I don't
come
know. I
along.
don't log mine, so
No.
I'm guessing.
Me neither.
And he has ways like he'll say moderate to strong in the spare bedroom. Well,
Yes.
No wonder he's in the spare bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are pastimes.
there's something compelling about the idea, though. I mean, I don't know how often I'd sit and read back through those journals.
No, but he's in a very good place if he's ever accused of having committed a silent crime, isn't he? Like he's got proof. I think you'll find that I didn't steal the Elgin marbles that night because I was sneezing in a restaurant in Leamington Spa.
I believe Jeffrey Archer had diary-based proof. And I
Doesn't
don't
count.
think it works.
Doesn't
No,
count
just
for
fighting
much.
like
Oh,
that.
all right, fair enough.
Like when December the 3rd bought this diary. That's where he give the game away. Yeah, it's. I'm thinking I might start logging my blinks.
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
think that's the test of staying power.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
It's going to take
imagine?
ages. Especially if you're doing the news as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you imagine how much I'll be blinking in Gateshead? People throwing stuff and shouting. Yeah, having to pull
been to
girls'
Gateshead?
skirts down who are lying on the floor to cover themselves. Oh, come here, love, showing. Oh dear. Hey, can't you help her?
Can I
When
say,
you're walking around like
I
that.
can imagine you getting a bit nasty in the last few minutes before you would come on, Frank, we're coming live to you in like 20 seconds.
Can you just give me some space, everyone?
You'd get a bit Russell
Cover
Grant.
her up. Told you that. Okay. Can you get her into a skit, that woman?
You keep a journal, don't you? But you don't keep a log of sneezes or any of that sort of stuff,
No, I
do you?
keep a journal of, stuff like Did Doctor Who.
Am I in the journal?
Yeah, you've been in my journal
Have
many
I?
times.
Oh, I'd
Yeah,
love
you
to
all
read
have.
it.
I think everyone
Oh, wow.
here has been in the journal in some capacity.
That's exciting.
Maybe
isn't
not
it?
the staff, but certainly the on-air people. No, I log every error. You can trust me on that.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So I haven't put pen to paper on this yet, but the other day I said to my wife, I'm going to get some sausages. I'm going to go and make some sausages, cook them. And she went, again? Like, I'd had sausages too recently.
Have you got a sausage log?
I might have to start keeping a sausage log, because even just in the last week...
If anyone's listening to this on bad reception, they're going to send you a dachshund. That's going to be embarrassing.
Well, I'd had a few chilli ones, the ones with a bit of spice.
Yeah.
I'd had some of those the day before, and in fact, the day before that. And
How many are you averaging a day, the sausages? Couple?
Well, for me, a portion of sausages is 3 for myself.
Yes.
But, like, the kids have, I don't know, 1 or 1.5, and then, then I start grazing into theirs. And then the next day, I opened the fridge when I was making a cup of tea, and there was a cold sausage in there, and I turned around from the fridge eating a cold sausage, and my wife went, predictable. So I think she's a bit worried about my sausage intake.
Yeah, log your sausages, that'd be good.
You think? Is that weird?
I'll tell you what, I have thought about logging, seriously. Every year, Flying Ant Day.
Flying ant day.
You know that day when the air is thick with flying ants?
Yeah, but you've got a bit of an obsession with insects at the moment, because that garden of
keep
yours.
getting bitten.
But have you ever noticed that fly?
Yeah, I do know.
I'd like to know if that happens on the same day every year. Is it like Christmas or Easter for the flying ants? Do they move it about, to make it?
Yeah.
Is it always on a Thursday, like a general election? I can't remember now, but I wish I had logged, say, the last, let's say 40 flying ant days.
That might be worth starting.
Yeah, I'm going to start. If anyone listening keeps a flying ant day log,
Let us know.
let us know if there's any trends.
I have a friend who writes his car miles in a little notebook for his...
Wow.
Because he's
Have you
self-employed.
got his number?
I mean, I don't do that. I think I'm meant to, but I don't.
I might log out every time the bread gets passed to me in a smart restaurant, and I say, thank you, no.
Yeah, I imagine that's quite
About
a
7
lot.
times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? How often do you...
Oh, God.
How often
Yeah,
do you How often do you wash your ears?
Oh, what, inside?
Inside.
Well, as you know, I didn't go in a ear for the whole of August, because I went away to the Edinburgh Festival and I came back, and I think I went 6 or 7 before I put a cotton bud in there.
Yeah.
Weeks?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you,
The beautician does that.
okay, fair enough.
Staff,
You get people in.
Yeah, I get someone in.
You see, I made a sort of a New Year's resolution that wasn't on New Year, because I never ever clean mine. I always think that hair washing they'll get enough residue to keep them in.
Yeah.
And now I've lapsed, and I was thinking, what about this? It'd be good to log, is what my point, and then you know how often you should be doing it. But I was wondering if I would be more inclined to do it if I broke it up a bit and did one ear one day,
Yeah.
and then another ear another day.
Yeah. It's a bit imbalanced, isn't it?
Well, it's only. I think would that be? Would I've never met anyone who does one ear at a time. Why is it that we feel we have to do both ears? Well, why is that? If you're to the house, you might say, I'll do the garage today, and I'll do the spare room in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
What? I don't see any... If there's anyone listening, if you could hear me with your filthy wax filled ears, who washes their ears on different days, I'd love to hear from you, because I think I'm going to start doing that, and I think it'll make me more clean.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We got a text in from a specialist nurse in ear care.
Oh,
It was
Here we
regarding...
go. Might say.
brilliant.
Lovely. Probably the worst thing to put down your ear would be a cotton bud.
What about a
Because
needle?
you just push... Don't be silly.
Okay.
You just push the wax down...
Push the wax down.
further impacting it, and then the little fibres of cotton wool build up, with it too forming a nice plug, which I then have to come along and sort out as a specialist nurse in ear care.
Yeah.
She personally does that.
I don't use the cotton bud, I just use the flannel. Finger on the flannel.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thanks.
What about house keys? What about
I'm
house
having
keys?
that.
Is
That's
that
what you're
fine?
thinking, isn't it? I'm having that.
What about house key? Is that not all right?
House
Every
key,
now and again,
no,
like, just
no.
the end, not the key bit, the actual.
I find if you unravel a bit of the toilet roll inner, And you get that sharp corner on the cardboard.
Yeah.
That can take out one of the bigger wads.
Yeah, when I came back from Edinburgh, I just unrolled a paperclip and stuck it in and pulled it out like a cork.
Can I say, if there's any children listening, that was a joke. Don't stick... I didn't know that about cotton buds, but don't stick... that
is bad, the cotton buds thing. Apparently they clean themselves anyway. That'd be interesting to know, because I was told that they clean themselves.
Matey. You've got mixed up with Matey.
Oh, yeah. My mistake.
Washes the bath as well as cleans your thing. Okay, well, thanks for that.
We've also had a text suggesting a different ending for the show. I like this one. Hi all, I think I have a solution to your need for a new ending. I'm sure Frank will remember Hill Street Blues. That immediately makes me think of my mum. My mum loved Hill Street Blues.
It's a jungle out there.
And the line used by the captain after each week's briefing when he said, hey, let's be careful out there. That's what he said all the time. Okay. Remember that? The great thing was that he changed the tone and inflection every week, so whilst the viewer knew what was coming, there was still an amount of intrigue about exactly how the line would be delivered.
Did you say intrigue?
Yeah, I got a slight cough in my throat. Did you hear that?
He was having digestive issues.
It's very weird.
Very embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm back. It's my own voice again.
Intrigue.
There was still an amount of intrigue about how exactly the line would be delivered. So there we go.
Okay, what is it? Hey,
let's be careful out there.
Well, maybe I'll try that. Okay.
We can't just stick, I'm having that with his line. You've got to come up with your own
same
one.
rules apply.
What about a job like that could change a man?
Maybe
Oh.
What about if I combine both of these texts and say, hey, be careful in there? As a sort of a health warning.
Lovely spontaneity it's going to have.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to that every week.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We are going to discuss something in a second, but there's an email just come in, long-time reader, first-time writer. Only the ear conch should be cleaned.
The conch? The
conch, yes. Leave the hearing tube alone, ! It's got a cleaning mechanism, tiny hairs on the surface of the skin cells which move the dirt outwards, which can be damaged with regular use of whatever you stick into it.
Okay.
For example, cotton buds or car keys.
Hear that, kids?
Then you're stuck with a life of long cleaning, so you've got to do it. Once you start doing it, you've got to do it.
It's like Quentin Crisp's room. You don't dust it, and after 4 years it doesn't get any dirtier.
Is that? Yes. It's very like that. Now, we need to talk about the woman in Plymouth who phoned the police, saying there was a crocodile in her garden.
I feel sorry for her.
I feel sorry for her.
Can I say I sympathise with her, because she sounds even more hysterical than me. I love her.
Yeah, but also it is a terrifying-looking thing that was in her garden. It doesn't look like a toy, does it? It's not like a teddy.
No, if it had been a teddy and she thought that was a crocodile, I thought she was a...
Or if she'd phoned up and said, there's a bear in my garden, and it was just a teddy bear, with its hand in a honey pot or something.
Yeah, but what about when I thought a black V-neck jumper was a skunk?
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
I just always think everything is an animal, because my default setting is hysteria. Every day of my life, I walk down the stairs of my duplex and I go, ah!
Because you think...
I think it's something. I think an animal's got in.
I shouldn't have bought you that fox cushion I bought you. It's been fooled by that. So she crocodiled 999.
Very good, yes. And they came along and blew it up. No, they didn't. It was already... inflated.
It arrived with riot shields, which I found rather extraordinary.
What can you imagine, though, if you got a phone call that said, there's a crocodile in my garden? I mean, they took people from the zoo. If it had been a real one, it's no good turn up and say, that's enough of that, sir. Move along now. I mean, you're going to have some proper tools. I'd have took a baseball bat. I'll tell you what I would have done. I'd have said to the police, can you come round and deal with this crocodile and make it snappy?
Very good.
You would have done that joke as well.
I actually would have done that.
And the police would have said, I'm having that.
Well, just to lighten... Yeah, exactly. Just to lighten it a bit.
Do you ever, when you see clothes, if you have them hanging or over the chair like you have in the shape of the Keep Britain Tidy man, don't you? You have a little man figure over your chair. If I see clothes and I wake up in the night, I always think it's a murderer.
Really?
Always. Even if he's... And I know why would a murderer wear a pink silk dressing gown, but I still think someone's got in.
You might like that.
Yeah, it could be if he was a sleepwalker.
Yeah.
Sleepwalker murderer.
Yeah.
That'd be a pink maybe a gay sleepwalker murderer. Do you remember that case?
No.
I think it might have just been in my head.
No.
Yeah. Well, be warned.
But this woman's
He's out
lucky
there.
she's only got one crocodile in there, because we quite often have a pair of crocs in the garden. The kids just take them off and leave them. There you go. Crocs.
Well,
Pair of crocs.
we can't follow that. Thank you so much for listening today.
Oh God, how are you going to do it?
I don't want to go.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.